What is going on, guys? DBG here, and this is another episode of the video where I rate your squads. So if you guys do like this type of content, if you guys want my team content, subscribe. I don't think there's anyone that uploads more my team content than I do. So yeah, pretty much what we're going to be doing in this video is we are going to be rating some squads that I sent in. If you guys want me to rate your squad, tweet me at DBGYT_ with hashtag rate my team. Anyone who sends it by DMs or Instagram, I'm not going to be able to respond to them because I need them all to be in one area, and I need and also if I just flick through all the tweets on my timeline, it's much easier for me rather than having to look through a bunch of DMs, and like most of the time I don't even see DMs because I get so many of them, whereas I can see these all in one place, which means it's a hell of a lot easier. Like genuinely, one of my most liked comments is DBG is not a nice person because he said he will block anyone that sends him stuff by DM. I'm not going to do that, obviously, but straight up, I get 150 Twitter DMs a day. I don't read most of them. It's physically not possible. So, lads, if you guys want a chance for me to rate your squad, do it like this, and there's a good chance, well, not a good chance specifically any given week, but over time, there's a good chance I will eventually rate your squad. But anyway, so this team right here, I'll try to listen to you as much as possible. If you have any suggestions, let me know. Alright, so you got a pretty nice team here. Pretty nice looking team. So Lynn and Billups, you're fine at the point guard position. Aiden and Shaq, you know what, you're fine at center. I'm not the biggest fan of Donovan Mitchell. I'm a big fan of Buddy Hield though. So what I would do is I would sell Donovan Mitchell and buy Lance Stevenson. I just think at the 2 guard position, like if you want to run Mitchell at the 1, fine, but at the 2, I don't think there's anything that Mitchell does better than Lance Stevenson. And Kelly Oubre, I'm not entirely sure what price he is, but if you can sell Kelly Oubre and get Paul Pierce, as much as Pierce obviously has steady, which is a little bit of a negative, however, Kelly Oubre Jr. without question is not as good as Pierce, and even with steady shooter, Pierce is still fantastic. Like, it's my 25 Hall of Fame badge or something. He is definitely a player that you should look at. In terms of like saving MT, I'm trying to think of what players you can get that you can make a little bit on, what ways you can improve without spending too much. So look, I'm not going to tell you to replace Buddy Hield because he's like an equivalent of Ray Allen. He's literally like Ray Allen's equal. I think maybe getting Paul Pierce, and maybe if you can save up a little bit of MT and get LaMarcus Aldridge, that would be pretty good. But other than that, look, this team is not perfect. There are some changes to be made, but this is a solid 7 out of 10 team. And look, I'm going to be a bit harsher than most people on ratings. 7 out of 10 for me is good. If it's bad, it's probably around 3 out of 10. If it's an average team, it's going to be 5 out of 10. So I'm not rating it as 9 good, 8 above average, 7 average. Average for me is 5, and this team is well above average, but there are still some like tweaks that need to be made. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 7. So I run 5 out, pick and pops, willing to sell anyone but McGrady because he's an investment. First of all, McGrady is not going to go up much in price. I am telling you that right now. So if you're using McGrady as an investment, don't. I'm not telling you to sell him immediately, but he's not going to go up in price. I'm telling you. Like Buddy Hield's already out. Like Buddy Hield's an equivalent of Ray Allen. Drazen Petrovic is a slightly worse Ray Allen. How long till we get a card that's better than Ray Allen that you can get in the auction house? And you could argue Buddy Hield is that player. So trust me, you're not going to be seeing people jumping out of their seats anymore to lock in for Ray Allen. So Tracy McGrady is not much of an investment anymore. Maybe the Series 2 guys like Dwayne Wade and stuff might be, not T-Mac. Okay, so I like Wade. Wade can be a little bit exposed in the pick and roll because he's got no pick dodger. Although Wade and Bam Adebayo is a good combo. So if you have Wade with a slow center, it's very easy to abuse that. If you watch one of my gameplays when I was up against Wade and Sabonis, I literally just ran pick and rolls with Chauncey Billups, and I scored the first 5 plays in a row. Like 5 threes in a row to start off the game. Was one of them yesterday, because when you've got a slow big man with a guy with no pick dodger, it's almost impossible to guard it. But Giannis, fine to run at the 4. I really like Bam Adebayo. I think he's arguably the best center in the game. Larry Bird is really good. I think Larry's a little bit overpriced though. Not gonna lie. I think he's really good but overpriced. Jeremy Lin's perfectly fine. Stevenson, Bridges, those guys are perfectly fine. Josh Smith and Miles Turner, Turner is good, and you've got Shaq there as well. You got Billups is good. Simmons is good. So overall, I give this team like an 8.5 out of 10. I don't think, like, there's a few changes that I'd make. So one change I would make, I would actually swap Aldridge in for Turner. And to make that extra bit of MT, I would actually get rid of Larry Bird and put in, put in Lamar Odom. I think that makes the team a tiny bit better while also saving you a bunch of MT. I don't think it makes the team significantly better, but it does save a bunch of MT. So then we have got this team right here. I run 21 delay, kick the shooters, also pick and pops, willing to sell anyone if needed. So basically you play DBG style of 2K. Okay, so Russell Westbrook, Buddy, Miles Bridges, Millsap, and Bam. A pretty good starting lineup. The problem with Millsap again is he's got no range extender, which I know is not, like, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. Anyone who's saying it's not a big deal is just lying. Unless you're someone like Giannis, it is a big deal. But you do have 4 players in team range extender, so look, you're fine. Not a big deal having them in there. But in general, depending on who you have around them, it can be a big deal. So you've got Chris Paul at the 1 off the bench. I don't know how I feel about Chris Paul. Like, you've got Marbury there anyway, so I actually think Marbury's better. But for me anyway, like, if you compare Chris Paul to Chauncey Billups, like, is there anything that Chris Paul does better than Billups? I genuinely don't think there is. I do not think there's anything Chris Paul does better than Billups, and he has a worse release. Although if you Chris Paul's release down, you really like that card, look, he's not going for enough MT. I think it's a bad thing having him in your team. I really like Roy, Richard Jefferson, Giannis. Sell Chris Bosh and buy, buy LaMarcus Aldridge. Aldridge is just a better Chris Bosh. Straight up. Aldridge is Chris Bosh, but better at pretty much everything. Marbury's fine, Blake's fine, and Ben Simmons. I do kind of like Ben Simmons as one of kind of last 3 off the bench. Honestly, I prefer Jeff Green, but that is just a personal preference, and I think I may be one of the only people in the world that would take Ruby Jeff Green over Ben Simmons. But again, if you guys are thinking I'm crazy, just watch some of my gameplays where I've used Ruby Jeff Green. That card is ridiculous. Okay, so this team right here, willing to sell anyone because of my players. I have a 200k MT in the auction house. I like to play bully ball, LeBron, and get shooters open. Pick and pop Porzingis, defensively crowd the 3-point line and make the other team drive. Okay, so you've got one kind of glaring issue in the team, and I think your bench is perfectly fine. Like, this team right here, I actually don't even think I rated these teams. So this team right here is probably an 8.5 out of 10 ish. It's a really good team. This team right here is probably I'll give it 8.5 as well. So this team right here, straight away I'm going to rate it. Are we going to go for the three-peat? Yes, we are. 8.5 out of 10. First of all, your 1, 2, 3 is perfectly fine. You do not need to change anything. Gilbert Arenas is great. Maybe you can get guys at a similar standard to Arenas for much cheaper. LeBron, like, obviously the best point guard in the game. Vince Carter, argue the best 2 guard in the game. If you have Brandon Roy, I'd use him, but Vince is Vince. Ray Allen's still great. Tracy McGrady's there. The one problem is, again, like, Kristaps Porzingis is slow and he can't play defense. So if you're coming up against a Giannis, a power forward, Porzingis is going to struggle. Yeah, sure, you can do pick and pops, but he will get burned on the other end. Also, what I would always suggest to any Pink Diamond Shaq is just save the 98k MT and just get the other Shaq. Just use the Amethyst Shaq. There is so little of a difference that it is not worth the 98k MT. And also, I would probably put Porzingis at the 5. Get rid of Shaq. I would also get rid of Tim Duncan, because I think Tim Duncan's a liability. Your bench is perfectly fine. And I would probably put in the MT you're getting from Shaq. I'd say Odom maybe at the 4. He'll do well. Or if you want to save a lot of MT and not make a significant downgrade, Jeff Green will do fine. Or a Karl Malone, someone like that. And I just think getting rid of Shaq will probably help the team and moving Porzingis to the 5. Because you specifically mentioned Porzingis, which means I'm guessing you play a lot through Porzingis. So it means that there's no point telling you to get rid of him. But telling you to get rid of Shaq should not be the toughest thing in the world. Because if you do like Shaq, just get his Amethyst, you save a bunch of MT. And if you're not really using Shaq that much, you put Porzingis to the 5. Stops Porzingis from being a liability and burning off the dribble. And then move someone like Lamar Odom in at the 4. Okay, so please rate my team. Do I have enough size? Are there any tall point guards that can match up with Magic and Braun? I don't use playbooks, just freestyle, driving kick. Try to save, willing to spend 100 to 200k. It is a flex. Like, this isn't like, this is a flex. Straight up, this is a flex. Like, you're questioning, you're like, who can match up the Magic and Braun? And you've got 4.2 million MT. This is a flex. Straight up, this is a flex. However, I may have rated this guy's squad before, but this is straight up a flex. This team is a 9.5 out of 10. 9.5. Again, is going to struggle a little bit on a Magic Johnson. Actually, you're not really going to struggle, are you? Like, Russell Westbrook and Wade, yeah, sure. They can be bullied in the post. But how often do you play against someone who's patient enough to just play bully ball with big point guards? It's probably the most effective way to play with them. But, like, it's a boring way of playing, and most people aren't patient enough. Your 2-3 is perfectly fine in your starting lineup and your bench. Giannis and Odom, perfectly fine. Weber and Aldridge, perfectly fine. Wade and Westbrook, perfectly fine. This is a really, really good team. What I would probably advise you to do if you're worried about your size is play fast. So what I mean is you've got 4 or 5 guys in your starting lineup that can take the ball up. I advise you to full court press, and that also negates the disadvantage of using small point guards, because if you can trigger that Hall of Fame clamps badge early, you don't, like, they're not going to post you up the full court, like. So as long as you don't let them go near the 3-point line, so pressing is probably the best way to play with this team. But yeah, this team is absolutely fantastic. So this is a complete flex. 9.5 out of 10. The only reason it's not 10 is because, I don't know, you've maybe the last 3 on the bench can get better. Like, but I can't. Like, there's no point making suggestions. You got 4.2 million MT, do what you want. You have enough MT to sort you the rest of the year. And get pretty much any card you want for the rest of this year. Okay, so I run 21 to lay out the Heat 13 playbook. So basically, best freelance, argue the best playbook, that or Portland or Milwaukee, depending on your playstyle. I run lots of pick and rolls with pop, like to run press, and sometimes zone. Okay, perfect. Because if you like to run press, this is kind of perfect because you've got a little bit of lack of height in your starting lineup, but you do kind of have good defenders all the way up. I actually really like this team. I'm not a fan of Bill Russell at the 4. I'm going to say that now, but Bill Russell is not bad. He's actually a really, really good card. I'm not a fan of him at the 4, but you have him locked in, and you also have Robinson locked in. So look, you might as well use him. And the fact that Bam, you've got Bam, who's exceptional as well. Like, your point guard position is fine. Your wings and 2 guards are fine. Like, you don't need to make any changes. This is a 9 out of 10 team. Like, yeah, you can make this team a 10 out of 10, but you'd be spending $1 million of your MT. So honestly, I don't think you need to make any changes. All right, look, if you want to run a press and you want to run it most effectively, you can go and swap David Robinson for Chris Webber, but like, I don't even think Webber is that exceptional. Like, well, Webber is that much better than Robinson. I think he's a little bit better, but not that much better. Like, look, you've got 2 of probably the best 6-point guys in the game. You've got 2 of the best probably 7 or 8 guys to play at the 2. You've got 2 of maybe the best 10 guys to play at the 3. You got 2 of the best 10 guys at the 4, and you've got 2 of the best 5 centers. So like, this is a, you know what, this is a 9.5 team. This is a 9.5 team. Okay, this is my first My Team. Just started a week ago, built this team. A little lost on how to upgrade with 60k MT. So there is one easy upgrade you can make to make a bit of MT. Yes, Giannis is good. I was going to say either sell Giannis and buy Jeff Green, or get rid of Kenny Walker and buy Jeff Green. Get rid of Kemp out of the lineup. Evo Lin up. Lin's perfect, you just need Evo him up. So, get Lin Evo'd up. You got Mitchell playing the 2. At the 3, get in someone like a Jeff Green. At the 4, you got Ben Simmons. And at the 5, that's where you need to get someone like a LaMarcus Aldridge type player. And that will improve your team. And because I don't want you to lose MT, I think you should try to keep that 60k MT. You can go and sell Giannis and buy Jeff Green. You can keep Kenny Walker at the 4. Or you can keep Kenny Walker at the 3 because you're running Simmons at the 4. That's perfectly fine. And then you've got Shaq there at the 5. And as someone else you run the 5, you can buy LaMarcus Aldridge to replace Karl Malone. And throw Karl Malone one of the guys on your bench. So you basically swapped Giannis and pretty much Giannis and like Kareem for LaMarcus Aldridge and Jeff Green. And I think those two guys are going to be a lot better than the two guys you have. Also, make sure to evo up Jeremy Lin, because if you don't evo him up, he's nothing spectacular. He only gets good when he gets evoed up to diamond, because he doesn't have clamps otherwise. Okay, I like Russell and Gordon. I have Isaiah player locked in. Oh, wow. That is not a smart move. I know I need a better SG, working on it, and a reserve power forward. I spent £80, but I'm kind of minor, not waiting for more major crash in March. Also wondering, because you've heard of a Finbar before, because I have no idea. I have no idea what that means. I'm guessing he's asking if I've ever heard the name Finbar, and there's plenty of them in Ireland. So, first of all, point guard position, perfectly fine. 2 guard, a little bit of work needs to be done. So, I love build-ups of Mitchell. You cannot play them as your 2s. Like, whenever Mitchell playing the 2, he's getting slash, you cannot play build-ups to 2. Lance Stevenson, just straight up get Lance Stevenson. He's going to be cheaper than both of them. Get him as soon as possible. Other guys to play at the 2, Landry Fields, upgraded. Aaron Gordon. Yeah, I like Aaron Gordon. And look, I know you've got Giannis in there. Your bench, if you sell Billups and get like Stevenson, or sell Billups and get Fields, your bench is fine. I know you have Giannis locked in. That is a very poor decision, by the way. I would try to find a way to get Miles Bridges and then move Aaron Gordon up to the 4. And as this team is right now, it's a, I think honestly, it's an average. It's a 6 out of 10. The way this team is structured right now is a 6 out of 10. Potentially, like a couple of minor changes can make this an 8, 9 out of 10, but right now it is a 6 out of 10. Okay, so next team. I regret locking in Levine. You learn by your mistakes. Feel like my centers are weaker when it comes to defending the post. Love the fact they can shoot well. Also, trying to finish evoing Lin. Alright, yeah, that is fair that your centers mostly of the time are going to be weak in the post if they are good shooters. So, looking at this team right here, you know what? Like, if you take out the fact you've locked in for Levine, all of these cards are free. Or like part of, or free or cheap. So, honestly, this team, if you didn't have Levine and you just had any other player there, I would give this team like a 9.5 out of 10 budget squad. However, you got Levine there, which was a hell of a lot of MT. So I'm going to give it like a 9 out of 10. This team's fantastic. Do I think you should upgrade any players? Hell no. Don't. Just leave it. Hoard your MT. Leave it. There is no one that is a significant enough upgrade for you to spend your MT, especially because it looks like you're a budget player. Trust me, you are fine. Do not worry. Running 9-man rotation, lots of drives, and I'm guessing that means 10-man. I'm guessing he means 10-man rotation. Lots of drives and points off fast breaks. Willing to sell on budget 100k. Okay, so you know, I'm trying to think who to get. I don't really like Mitchell at the 2, seems at 3, but it's all right. Your point guard situation's fine. Your center situation's fine. Buddy Hield's unreal. Bridges is all right. I'd make sure one of your last year at the bench is a Jeff Green card or something, because he's a similar card to Simmons, and he can also shoot the ball a little bit. Should you buy a Lamar Odom or replace Blake Griffin? He's not. Lamar Odom's not enough better than Blake Griffin that it's worth, because you've already got Blake Griffin locked in. Or not locked in, like already have him as a reward, that it's worth doing that. But Odom is definitely better than Griffin. I just don't think he's enough better for you to go out and pay for Odom when you have Griffin. I like Bam. I like Shaq. I really like your point guards. I really like Buddy Hield. I really like Stevenson. I really like Bridges. Simmons for a free card is fantastic. The team's probably about a 6.5, 7 out of 10. You just have a couple of liabilities, which is Blake Griffin and clamps. You've also got Simmons and Shaq's lack of shooting. You cannot play Simmons and Shaq together. I'm saying that right now. Swap Simmons in your starting lineup, but you cannot play the 2 of those guys together. Your players are fine. Team structure is a little bit off. So I would say, because of the weakness in the squad, it's about a 6.5, maybe 7 out of 10. Anyway, yeah, that is the video. These are all of the squads. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.